Welcome back to the sunny side for this next discussion. We're rejoined by Jamel Banton. We liked him so much we had to bring him back. You know what I mean? Right now. This time as CEO and Senior Coastal Engineer at Smith Warner International Limited, we'll explore how the hurricane reshaped beaches, eroded dunes, and devastated marine habitats along the shore. Welcome back, Jamel.
Thank you.
How are you?
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, many of us have been looking at, how this hurricane devastated buildings and, impacted the roadways and things like that. But talk to us about our coastline and what this means for moving forward and the future of our coastlines after Hurricane Melissa.
It means so much. So let me start by explaining what is storm surge.
Okay.
So we all know that winds damage buildings, and regardless of where the hurricane hits you, you have wind damage. So let me explain a little bit about storm surge. So the hurricane moves and the wind is going like this in an anti-clockwise direction.
Right.
So it's coming towards you, all right? So it's going in this direction towards you,
Okay.
all right? So imagine when the wind is going like this, it's pushing the water onto you because you are the shoreline, you are the coastline. So it pushes
and you are the water.
you. And yes, so it's rotating like this. But if this part of the hurricane hits you, the wind is like this, so it's pushing the water away from the coastline, so it doesn't cause a surge. So I'm explaining this to make the point that the worst possible storm happened to Black River, because the storm came up from the south and went towards Black River. And Black River, it was spinning like this, and it was just pushing the water onto Black River.
Okay.
So this is the...
So it brought the water from the sea onto the land, and especially at Black River.
Yes, I think Black River got the worst storm surge in Jamaica's history, as long as we know it. We've been recording. So in 1912, there was a major storm that hit Savannah Lamar directly in just the same, but that was a Category 3. This was a Category 5 and hit Black River with the right part of the storm hitting Black River. So this was a major damage, major coastal erosion. So what we see now on the ground is that Crane Road is all beach. So if you know Black River, there's Crane Road. That is all sand. So all the sand was brought up and covered. It covers that main road. High Street, which is the road that goes from the town of Black River up to the hospital, that was significantly impacted. There's now a section of it that is completely eaten out, is completely taken out. And of course, the Black River Hospital, such a critical facility, that is unfortunately on the coastline, and that of course was damaged. It is fairly high, it's about 4 or 5 meters above sea level, but still, because the storm surge was so much because of how the hurricane approached Black River, it took out a fair bit of it, and it caused a lot of damage to the hospital. So there are major questions that we'll have to ask ourselves going forward. One, of course, is should such a critical facility
like a hospital
be located
so close to the shoreline?
Yes. So what do we do about that? Do we invest in just making a coastal protection, or do we look critically at, say, moving parts of the hospital away from the coastline to create a bit of a buffer zone? High Street, which runs up along the shoreline, do we move that road back? Should we have such a critical road so close to the shoreline? Then we have the buildings. So as you know, Black River is a historic town. It was the first town that had electricity in Jamaica. So there are buildings that are right along the coastline, and they have been there. They are old buildings. And so they were there long before planning regulations. What do we do about those buildings in looking back at, in now moving forward? Do we allow them to be built back? Do we build a coastal protection? What do we do? So we'll have some critical planning decisions to make.
Jamel, the planning and the thinking and the restructuring and reframing of Black River is clearly going to be a very long-term project.
Yes.
Is there anything that would need to be done in the short term?
Exactly. So I'm glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because essentially, no, in a time like this, it's life first.
Yeah.
So we have to think about the people there now and the people who need that support. So the key things right now are to ensure that there's access to responders. So the rapid repairs that have to happen to the roadway to make sure that responders can reach to the people, that has to be done. The bridge, for example, which has been impacted quite significantly, we need to at least check to make sure that it is safe.
Structurally sound.
Yes, so it is structurally sound. So we need to make sure we do not incur any accidents or anything like that in this time, this critical period when we need to get to people.
I have a final question for you. Of course, St. Elizabeth Breadbasket.
Yes.
Parish, responsible for so much of our food.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about the fish with this storm surge and the mix up with the wind and all these things. How does that impact fisher folk and that industry?
So the fisher folks. Let's in White House, where there's a nice fishing market. I don't know if you've been there.
Yes, absolutely.
That was significantly damaged. The jetty, where the fishermen could come and land their fish, that is, I think, completely damaged. So there's a lot of damage. So in the near term, after we've solved the immediate problems of getting people food, we have to try to get people back to their livelihoods so that they can sustain themselves. And a key thing will be to assess what damage there is to their boats, what damage there is to the facilities that they need. So those are critical near-term things that we'll have to do, to help the people cope.
Jamel, thank you so much. You come with wearing two hats, and you wore them well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. Our guest has been Jamel Banton, CEO and Senior Coastal Engineer at Smith Warner International Limited. Now, after the break, we're leaving the field and we're headed to the court for Law and Order JA, powered by Ministry of National Security and Peace. Stay tuned to find out more.